Hello, hello. We're here and we're talking fear. Yes, sir, and ma'am, and everyone else out there. We're talking fear today and how that kills the entrepreneurial dream, right? Because we all know once you get into that fear, you're stuck. So, fear, huh? Okay, we all know that's an intense emotion that's going to hold us back. We know that. So, imagine constantly being worried about what might go wrong, being afraid to take risks, being afraid to move, being afraid to do anything in life. You know, this kind of worrying, this kind of fear can seriously mess with your mind, your confidence, even your perception of your reality around you, about life around you, everything, in fact. So fear can exert detrimental impact on a person's health as well, guys. Because if you're in a prolonged and excessive state of fear, what happens is it leads to chronic stress. And we all know that stress in the body leads to cancers and other illnesses as well, right? And so when fear takes over, it not only does physical harm, it does mental harm as well. So it triggers the body's stress response. And so by releasing the hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline, you're actually causing your body to cause yourself to get sick in the long run. If you have that I'm just getting crazy here. If you have that over a long period of time, your body ends up getting sick because it's not supposed to be constantly in fight or flight, right? So over time, these hormonal imbalances will contribute to conditions like anxiety disorder, depression, cardiovascular problems, a weakened immune function, all of these things. Fear-induced stress can disrupt sleep patterns. It can impair digestion. And overall, it leads to weight gain or weight loss. But I mean, don't use it as a weight loss because, by the way, it's just going to make you sick over time. So it's not really, good to lose weight with, but it will cause you to lose weight in a very unhealthy way, right? Thus, fear can be a cascading effect on a person's overall well-being. And so that's why it's important to take care of your fear, not just sit in it ever. Fear doesn't just stop at our physical well-being. It messes with our confidence. It has that nagging voice. The one in our heads that tells us, you're not good enough. This wasn't meant for you. You were never meant to do this. Stuff like that. You shouldn't try new things. Just stop now and just settle. That's what fear is. And it's that fear of failure that keeps us from taking risks, from trying new things, from reaching out and branching out on our own and becoming successful. Because that's what you have to do to reach for your dreams. You have to go for it. And if you have that fear inside, you're not going to go for it. And then that fear, that constantly doubting yourself, that's going to lead to financial instabilities because you're not succeeding because of that fear of success. So it's a major confidence killer in the long run, right? So imagine if you have a brilliant business idea. So you can envision yourself making an impact in this world, and just lurking in the back of your mind is that fear that taking that financial risk is scary to you, or you worry about, future finances, potential failures in anything. You have that uncertainty in your business, whether you're going to be able to find the clients, whether you're going to be able to find the time to make all the content, who's going to like you, all of those feelings. Thank you, Natasha. She says, hey, beautiful. Hi, Natasha. Thank you. You're right. We're talking about fear today. And so if you've manifested fear or you have fear living in your life, write it down. Tell me about it. If you have any questions, let's get talking. Make this a conversation. So let's talk about the fear that's paralyzing us, right? Because fear of financial instability, which is a lot of people right now, they're suffering that fear. That's preventing you from taking the necessary steps to turn your entire life around and to make your business actually start to thrive. So it's like a constant nagging whisper or doubt, the what ifs, the making that, whatever it is that's making you question and second guess yourself, right? That's what that is. So as a result, you find yourself stuck. Fear about the judgment. Yeah, Natasha, that's a good fear too, right? You'll find I have no fear of judgment anymore. I used to fear that a lot. In fact, when I first started my business, Natasha, I was so afraid of judgment. I didn't want to come online and put my face on here because some days I don't feel well. And when I don't feel well, it really reflects in my face. You could tell if you look at my older videos, any videos I don't look too good, I'm not feeling well that day, and it shows, right? So I worried about that. Then I also worried about my brain because I have multiple sclerosis, and sometimes guess whose brain doesn't work very well? So if you find me struggling for words, that's why. I can't remember the words. I know in my head what I want to say, but the word isn't connecting to my lips, and so it's not coming out towards you guys, right? And I worried about that judgment. And then, of course, I worried about telling my story, about being sick and all these people judging me for having 15 years off, being a failure because of all the things I thought about myself. Here's the secret success to that judgment. When you become so confident, you love yourself, when you believe in yourself so much that you understand that all of your failures, all of your struggles are now your strength, you don't give a flying F about anybody's judgments about anything ever. That's the truth, because it no longer matters, because you start to realize that when somebody's judging you, they're judging their own inabilities, their own limitations, and that's what that's about. It's something they can't do themselves, or they're judging you about whatever it is they don't like about themselves. That's what the judgment is, right? I want to feel better than you, so I must judge you. Well, you know what? You're not better than me when you're judging me in that moment. Actually, you're less than me because you have to judge others on that. And I know that now because I'm now incredibly confident about my life and who I am. And if so, people look back at me, at my past, and say, oh, you did this, this happened to you, you were off work for these many years, how can I believe in you? I just look at them and I say, I don't care. If you believe in me, I believe in me, and that's what matters. It's about me knowing I'm good enough for this, right? That's what this is about. And that's what I did with Rapid Transformational Therapy. Like, let me tell you what, my self-confidence with before this, right? Completely. We all have a past. Exactly, Terry Lynn. We all have a past. Don't be ashamed of it. Turn it into your power, into your strength. That's what I did. Now I'm out here. I'm telling everybody my story. I don't care if you judge me because I was blind or paralyzed or I lose words. I don't care. I don't even care if I look totally fantastic on video anymore. Mind you, I'm a woman of a particular age. And guess what happens with the freedom of age, everybody? You don't give a flying F anymore. You just don't. And so now I'm almost 50 and I don't care. And it's a beautiful, beautiful feeling. Now, that being said, do I care when close friends judge me? Yeah, it hurts a little. But I look at their judgments and I think, okay, what is it this person's limiting or lacking in their lives, and why are they judging me? And also, are they judging me out of love? Because if they're looking at that and judging out of the love, because sometimes friends don't know how to express themselves in love and it comes out in a judgy way, you have to know that, guess what? I'm still doing great, and you just have to have a conversation because they are trying to elevate you to your best selves. Now, if you have people in your circle who are constantly being judgmental, like I went on a date recently, and thank you for saying I'm rocking it. I feel like I'm rocking it. I went on a date recently with a guy who, we started talking business, and we were talking about my website and about my content and everything like that. And this person started to give me their 2 cents. I'm happy to hear people's 2 cents. Absolutely. I'm growing, right? I'm growing. But when his 2 cents became judgment, and then it became hurtful judgment, and then it became cruel, painful words that he was saying, I knew I was in the presence, first of all, of either a narcissist or someone who is incredibly hurt, who has a lot of healing to do. And so although what they said hurt me, and I did react in the first second, I kind of went, and I could feel that bubbling boil, right? But then I thought about what he said, and I went, yep, you're right. I can work on that. That's what I need to work on. And you know what you need to work on? The way you just delivered that statement to me. Let's work on that, because it hurt, and you're kind of a jerk right now, and that's how I'm viewing you. And in that moment, that person just shrunk. They were standing tall as they were telling me everything and this, that. And when I said that back to them, I said it with kindness. I did not get upset. They shrunk down. And he said, I'm sorry. That's my fault. It's my failures. I'm always like that. Just correct me when I do that. They realized their mistake. So sometimes we have to understand judgment isn't judgment of you 9 times out of 10. It's them trying to puff themselves up, right? And So when you get confidence, you don't give a flying fuck. You don't care. You don't care anymore about that stuff. So work on your confidence. And thank you, Terry Lynn, for saying she loves my personality and my mind. I do too, you know. And for a long time, I was so ashamed of who I was, who I had become through illness, because I lost this confidence. I lost this personality. I became a grumpy witch. Like, I don't even like the person I was back then, you know, and I'd walk around. I was that person who literally walked around and said, there's something wrong with the whole world, you know, and it wasn't me. It had to be everybody else around me. But you know that old saying that if you go to the first spot and somebody's a jerk, they might be having a bad day. But if you go to that second spot and they're a jerk, and then that third spot they're a jerk, chances are you're the jerk and you're bringing that energy everywhere with you. So that's kind of how that one goes. But as far as judgment's concerned, don't you dare worry about anybody else but your darn self. Because you know what? Who cares? Who cares what they think? And look at what they're doing with their lives. Are they judging you because they can't do what you're about to do? Because they can't see themselves being able to do that? Because guess what? You are more powerful, more creative, more confident, more skilled than they will ever be at whatever it is you're trying to do. And that's why they're telling you no. That's why they're telling you to stop. That's why they're trying to distract you. Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen. Yes, I'm preaching, baby. I'm preaching. Don't let it happen. Because you know, many people, including up to today, people are telling me to quit my business and give up. Just settle. Become one of the working class at Walmart or something like that. And P.S., nothing wrong with that. But that's not my life path. That's not my life path. My life path is to do this. This is what I want to do with my life. And even when I struggle, even when my business was struggling and I was trying to get my hold on, you know what? I did not give up on myself, no matter what they told me. People told me I was a failure. People told me that it was never going to work, that I have health issues. Why bother? Just find a good man to take care of you. That's what I was told. That's their limiting beliefs. That's what they would have done because they don't have my strength. I have superpowers. They don't know that, but I know that. I have superpowers. We all have superpowers. And the idea is to harness those superpowers. And so the idea is to get yourself unstuck, get yourself out of that cycle of hesitation, get yourself away from that fear, because hesitation to invest in yourself and your business causes you to hire or causes you to not hire the right team, right? Because you end up hiring either the cheapest version of, because you don't want to spend the money for the best, or you don't hire at all. And so you make no advancements, you make more mistakes, and you go inch by inch by inch, when instead you could have been galloping over to your goals, right? So you end up pursuing the wrong partnerships, the wrong collaborations, because again, you're afraid to invest. Your fear causes you not to believe in who you are, right? And when you don't believe in who you are and somebody comes to you with a big opportunity, you say no to it. And let me give you an example of this. About a year ago, I was approached with a big opportunity to write a book, to write a couple books. Actually, it was a 2-book deal. And it was to help my business to grow and to become, a guru. And 2 years ago, I was afraid to make that investment in myself because I didn't believe enough. A year ago, I didn't believe enough in myself to do that, right? And so I let it go. And guess what I'm doing today, guys? I'm doing exactly what I gave up on over a year ago when I could have already had it done. But then I didn't have that self-confidence. I didn't believe in myself. I had fear. I had fear of making my story known worldwide, putting it in print like that. Yeah, I tell it on Facebook, whatever. But putting it in a book, that's a whole nother ballgame. And I had fear. I had fear of that success and of that failure. Now that's gone. Gone. Worked on it. It's gone. But I'm a year behind now. Over a year behind. Guess where I could have been had, right? So your fear holds you back from making those bold moves, from taking calculated risks, from propelling yourself into the future you want for you. So you know what? Fear messes with reality. We all know that. It's like putting on tinted sunglasses, okay? That messes with your reality. You're not seeing things exactly as they are. And so things start to look scarier to you than they actually are. And, so now you start to see threats everywhere when in fact you're not. And so you start missing out on amazing opportunities to go and change your life, to enjoy your life, because that's what fear does. Take phobias, for example, okay? People with irrational fears and phobias, of certain situations, they can experience that irrational fear that doesn't allow them to grow. It doesn't allow them to experience anything, right? Any experiences at all. I knew there was a lot of spiders in Africa when I was going to go, and I had a big fear of spiders before I went, but I went anyways. And so I was in homes where like the whole walls were crawling with spiders everywhere, like everywhere. And I used to wake up every day with a huge spider like the size of my head over my bed. And that spider every night, I guess, would come down and eat all the tsetse flies around me, right? And I used to have fears, but I had to get over that fear in order to survive with these spiders. And I did. And then in turn, those spiders ended up keeping me safe. They killed all the tsetse flies around me and all the other bugs around me that would have harmed me. So I got over my fear. I allowed the spiders to live with me. And guess who didn't get sick? This girl, right? And so that's what you have to realize, is that your fears, that's what you're supposed to be conquering. Irrational fears, guys. I mean, I'm not talking about when your skin starts to crawl when somebody walks in the room. Pay attention to that fear. That's the fear of, danger. When your blood runs cold or your hairs start to stand up from fear. That's real fear. That's not the fear we're talking about here today. Today we're talking about, fears of things where you'll get stuck, things where you're going to be in that cycle of limitation. So let's say you have that fear of public speaking. Many people experience fear of public speaking. They get anxiety when it comes to public speaking. I've never really had that. I've been public speaking since I was a wee little girl, since I think I was 16 when I started to public speak. And I love it. I love being in front of crowds. I love talking to people. I have no fear about that. But many people do. And so you find that it's going to hinder your professional health, because a lot of companies expect their staff to either stand up in front of the office and speak, at a meeting, or they want you to go and do a presentation, or whatever the case. You have to do it, right? Or you lose your job, or you don't get promoted, or whatever the case. If you suck at it, you got to learn more. But the idea is, you got to get past that fear, and a lot of people can't. So hypnosis does help that. RTT, hypnosis, Rapid Transformational Therapy, that's what I do. That one actually helps you to overcome that stage fright. It helps you by addressing the underlying causes of the fear in that situation. So it helps you to develop confidence, and you get calm within that situation. You feel incredibly calm, in fact. And that's how I now feel when I'm doing these videos. I used to get panic and start crying before or after the videos. I get so nervous. And now I'm calm. I just come to it and start being myself and talking my stuff and doing whatever, right? And so we can help you with the hypnosis, with Rapid Transformational Therapy, to develop new patterns of thinking that's going to help enable you to deliver a powerful, powerful and impactful speech, right? That's the idea. And so this fear of failure that we all have, or many of us have, it's a common obstacle, a very common obstacle. So what we do is we would help the individual address and reprogram those deep-seated beliefs that are contributing to that fear. So by accessing the subconscious mind, RTT therapy actually helps the individual build up resistance, right? It increases their self-belief, and they can embrace their future. They can actually start stepping towards it. It's like a stepping stone to the success itself, right? It allows you to let go of whatever it is you're hanging on so tight to that was keeping you in that spot. You let go of it because you transform what you thought of your past and what you think of yourself. You transform it all within our sessions, right? It happens real quick. It starts within 3 hours. We do a 3-hour session, and then it rolls out from there, and you just start changing. You can't stop the changes. It just starts to happen, right? And so by doing this allows people to let go of things like perfectionism, because we know that is a killer. You can start taking calculated risks with your life. You can start moving forward in confidence in your business ventures. Everything starts to change. In fact, we have clients who've come into us who've had one session and they stopped shouting at their children the next day. Their interactions with people they work with become better, because when you get rid of that fear, it gets rid of anxiety. And when anxiety goes, you stop shouting, you stop reacting, right? And Danielle, thank you. She just said she loves the bass in the background. Thank you. That's my friend's base. This is my friend's house. We're chilling here today because it's cloudy out, and for some reason, my internet's not as quick as his, and it works better here. Mine is not working at my house, so we're here. And so you're going to get to see a lot of great instruments. I've asked him to, he's got, I don't know, about 30 guitars here. So I've asked him to start placing them behind me so we can have new guitars every time I'm on. So we'll start seeing guitars back there, and we can start, we'll make it a game where people will start seeing and we can describe what they are and stuff like that. But yeah, all right. So anyway, so there's also, guys, fear of rejection, right? So let's say, you are having relationships or even trying to get into a business. When you have that fear of rejection, it's going to limit those opportunities for growth and success in all areas, right? Because if you don't uncover the root cause of what your fear is, what you do is you bring that into the relationship, you bring that into the business, and you're the one creating the chaos. You're bringing that level of energy with you, and energy matters. What we put out into the universe comes back to us. So when you go in with fear of rejection, you're actually going to get rejected, because that's what you're promoting out from yourself. See, and I used the wrong word. Promoting was not the right word, but that's what came to my head, and that's what came out, guys. So I'm okay with it. But anyways, but you understand, right? So you're going to be pushing out the wrong vibration. You're going to be on a lower vibration. And so that's what you attract, is people from that lower vibration, opportunities from that lower vibration. Because when you're in that fear of rejection, you're in anxiety. You're in it. And you have to reframe your perception of rejection. You have to start reprogramming your subconscious mind. And when you do that, you actually build up a sense of self-worth. You start to improve on your confidence. And then, of course, you overcome your fear of rejection. Now, we do that through hypnosis. That's what I did, and that's why I'm so cool right now and so awesome. I wasn't like this a few years back. If you would have seen me, I was a shell of this ladybug right here. But now I'm this girl, right? I'm now me. And so when you take over, when you take action, your life changes. But here's the problem. The fear of taking action. Oh, we all have a fear of taking action. Hi, Scott. And sometimes the fear of taking action is the worst fear of them all. Why? Because procrastination and fear of taking action hinder progress in every sphere of your life. Because when you don't take action due to fear, you have no movement. And when you have no movement, you don't grow, you don't learn, nothing. You actually stay stagnant, or you move backwards. Could go either way. But if you don't address those underlying fears, if you don't address that self-doubt, it's going to contribute to worse behaviors coming out of you in the future. You don't get better just sitting in fear. You actually get worse and worse and worse, until suddenly you're losing relationships, you're losing jobs, you're losing opportunities, you're losing everything. Because why? You didn't work on yourself, because you had a fear of not becoming successful over here, but you'd rather just stay over there. And so nothing happens because you're all mixed up. Oh, but guess what happens when you just jump towards fear? Guess what? Okay, what happens when you jump towards fear is you get one step closer to your goal, and then things start to uncross. And then next thing you know, you're there. You're at your goal. You've reached it. You've completed it. You've succeeded at something. And I want to tell you guys, fear of taking action. Action matters. Now, have you guys heard the story about the bison and the cows? It's a damn good story. Here we go. All right. Now, the bisons and the cows. There's a storm coming. Big ass thunderstorm is coming, right? And the bisons and the cows are out in that field, and they can hear it. They can feel it. They know it's coming. Now, the cows instinctively run away from that storm, as anybody would. We don't want to go into the storm. So we run away from it. We run as far, far away from this storm as we can. Now, as the cows are running away from the storm, they start to slow down because they're getting tired. And eventually, the storm catches up with them. And the cows are so tired, they have to stop. And so eventually they stop, and that storm goes over them, and they have to endure the entire storm. And they endure a long version of it because as they're running away from it, it's storming on them. And it's storming on them as they're still trying to run away, run away, run away, until finally they have to stop and sit in that storm. But then there's the buffalo. No, the buffalo, they're not as stupid as the cows. No, 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 no. The buffalo run into that fear, into the storm. Running into fear. Go for it. Here's what happens when you do that, guys. Now, the buffaloes ran towards the storm. And they knew the faster they ran, the faster they were going to hit that storm. And they did. Oh, that storm hit them. But as they were running towards that storm was coming towards them. And guess what happened? Their speed and the storm speed kept going. And before they knew it, the storm was gone. It passed them. They were in the sunshine. They were feeling great. And they were safe. They only spent maybe 5-10 minutes in that storm, whereas the cows who were trying to run away from that pain, it's still raining on them. It's still raining on them because as they were running, they allowed it to continue to rain on them. And then when they finally stopped, they stopped at the top of the storm. So in fact, they stayed with the top of the storm. They stayed in that pain. They stayed in that fear for as long as they possibly could take it until they couldn't do it anymore. And then they just stopped in their tracks and it poured down pain, fear, everything they didn't want on top of them. So the secret to this, guys, the moral of this story is be the buffalo. Which one are you, the cow or the buffalo? Be the buffalo. Run into fear, run towards it, get past it so that it doesn't hurt as much, right? That's the secret. That's about taking action. You have to take action because if you don't, it gets worse. You sit in the storm longer. So learn that lesson, kids. And then there's, of course, that fear, imposter syndrome. Holy crapper doodles. Many people experience that, imposter syndrome feeling, especially entrepreneurs, business people, anyone trying to excel or be an athlete, anyone who's trying to be the best version of themselves at one point feels like a damn imposter because you're still learning and growing until one day you realize, holy crap, I do know this stuff. I am great at this stuff. I am amazing. But you don't know it. You don't know it until later. So while you're still growing to that moment where you find out you're amazing, guess what? You feel like an imposter. And so when an individual doubts their achievements, they fear being exposed as that fraud. And so hypnosis, RTT hypnosis, is actually going to help you get past that. Lickety split too, right? Instantly. Within 3 hours, it starts to change for you. You start to feel the confidence that you're needing. You start to understand everything you already know. And in fact, what happens is your brain will just and you start to release all the knowledge you already got up in here. And I don't mean knowledge just from this lifetime. I mean all the knowledge you've got. It starts to go. And you are able to create things that you were never able to create before. You're able to do things you weren't able to do before. Why? Because you unleashed your superpowers. That's why. And that's what we do here. We help you to unleash those superpowers so that you don't have to feel, like that imposter, so that you can now feel empowered to go out and showcase your expertise to the world. Take ownership of all of your accomplishments and thrive in your chosen field, right? And that's what I'm starting to do. I'm starting to thrive. Yeah, it's taken me a minute to get there because I had to go through all this imposter stuff. I had to go through all this fear. But I pushed past it. I worked past it. I used hypnosis to get me here. And now I'm succeeding. I'm doing exceptionally well because I have that powerful tool, Rapid Transformational Therapy. So individuals seeking to conquer their fears and achieve their success in their life, both business and personal, should absolutely use hypnosis. Many successful people in the world used hypnosis and still use hypnosis. Athletes are using it all over the world to envision the end game so that they can become their best versions. CEOs of companies are using it. Now, I can't tell you some of those companies, although I do know some of them, but they have privacy contracts, so we're not allowed to talk about that. But there are many companies out there who use hypnosis for their CEOs as well as their staff to keep them at the top of their games. And then, thank you, Scott. Scott says, ladies' advice is legit. She will answer any questions you ask. You guys should listen to her. Mwah. Thank you, Scott. That's very pleasant. That's very kind of you to say that to me. And yeah, you're not wrong. I'm trying my best to be there for people as much as I can. And Scott's one of the gentlemen that I'm there for him. I offered him some great stuff. So hopefully he comes in and gets the help he deserves. So guys, Thank you, Scott, for that comment, though. I really appreciate you. But let me tell you guys about some of the people who used hypnosis. It may surprise you. It may surprise you. Did you know that Tiger Woods, do we know who Tiger Woods is? He's the golfer. Golfer who had a lot of affairs. That guy. Anyways, he used hypnosis to overcome his fear of putting. Who knew he had a fear of putting? But he did. He feared putting. So by working with his hypnotherapist, he was able to reframe his mindset, and then he could easily perform on the green, right? This allowed him to become the success that he is today, right? Then there's Albert Einstein. Wow, he's renowned. Physicist Albert Einstein. This hypnosis helped him to overcome his fear of public speaking. So you can have a brilliant, incredibly brilliant mind and still have fears and phobias, right? It's natural for everyone, and it's because of something we told ourselves when we were a child. It's because of a belief system you implanted up here that you need to get rid of. And that's what Albert Einstein did. He may have known he was an incredibly brilliant man, but he had stage fright. He had fear of speaking with people. And now look, that man, he calmed all of his nerves, he grew his confidence, and he delivered some very influential lectures in his lifetime. And he was able to communicate groundbreaking scientific ideas to the world. You know who else? Jackie Kennedy Onassis. Hell yeah, former First Lady. Everyone, she turned to hypnosis to conquer her fear of flying. Yeah, we fix that too. Fear of flying, everything, any kind of fear we can help you with, right? Hers was helping her to address her anxieties for that. So she overcome her fear, and that enabled her to travel with her husband around the world, where she was able to go and do her diplomatic duties as well as have personal commitments and travel around for that. She could live her life the way she was meant to be. Because in her world, traveling was an everyday occurrence. Well, maybe not every day, but an often day occurrence. And if she can't fly, she's limited herself from all of her family's events, from her jobs. Someone else who's also done this, another actor, Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner, he's an award-winning actor, American actor, and he used hypnosis to help him overcome stage fright. Stage fright. Kevin Costner. I love Kevin Costner. I think he's fantastic. You'd never guess that man had anxiety. But he had anxiety of his performances, and so he had to build up his confidence. And that helped him to pave the way to his successful career that you see him in today. The last actor that we're going to talk about right now is Matt Damon. He's another Hollywood American actor, Matt Damon. He also used hypnosis to overcome his fears of claustrophobia. Yeah, he was afraid of tight spaces. And so for a movie, he actually had to use hypnosis to help him calm down so that he can be in those tight spaces for the movie. Hi, Cheyenne. Cheyenne's my cousin. Hi, Cheyenne. She's just online now. So when he used that to be able to be part of that movie, it helped him to get a calm and clear and focused mind, which helped him to delve into those challenging moments that he needed so that he can act and react with confidence, right? So his ability to manage his fears of that claustrophobia enabled him to deliver a compelling performance throughout his career, in fact, right? So these examples are just some of people who had help. So let's talk a little bit about RTT and how this is going to help you conquer your fears, okay? Hypnosis, particularly rapid transformational therapy, and yes, all is well. Thank you, Cheyenne. Particularly rapid transformational therapy is it's a valuable tool of overcoming fear and unlocking one's true potential, right? So rapid transformational therapy and hypnosis, it's an approach that combines therapeutic styles of neurolinguistic programming, cognitive behavioral therapy, psychotherapy, and hypnotherapy, all combined. Okay, and what it does is it's a bunch of techniques that address the deep-rooted issues, such as fears, limiting beliefs, blockages, basically anything that's turning your life around, and we help you to start turning your life into the superhero that you are. So through the RTT hypnosis, we can do a deep dive into your subconscious mind and overcome all the root issues, all the root causes of fears and limiting beliefs for you. And in fact, you actually do that. I just help you to unlock the door, and you go in and you fix it all up yourself. You see all the reasons for those limiting beliefs, and you start to understand, and then you start to reframe it, and then next thing you know, you've transformed your whole life. And that's what we do within our sessions, right? So it helps you to reframe those negative thoughts to replace them with more empowering ones. So imagine breaking free of all of that fear-based thinking and embracing a mindset that opens doors to endless possibilities, because that's what you're going to do. You're going to open up those doors to endless possibilities for yourself, because this RTT hypnosis is actually going to give you all the tools you need to transform your mind, your life, and become that superhero all by yourself. And so you could become the best version of yourself instantly. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you're anyone out there who's striving to become their best version, try this. Try it. What's the worst that can happen? It doesn't work, boo. But it will work because I have a 93% success rate, right? So I know it's going to work for you. We make sure our clients, and we don't accept everybody, guys. We don't. We have a limited capacity as to how many people we can have in right now, because I'm the therapist. So when you come here, I have to be available. So we have a limited capacity. So I only take some people. Limited spaces are available. So if you want to apply to become that best version, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're anyone, a business who wants your staff to work at the top capacity, it's time you hit us up. It's time you call us and ask for our help, and maybe we can help you. Maybe you're the right group for us. What we're looking for are people who want to succeed, people who aren't going to make up excuses, and people who won't give up on themselves. Now, if you think you're that person, great. We're here for you. We are ready to go for you. And I understand that sometimes it takes a minute to get to that. Because you know what? When I started this, I didn't believe that I could be where I am today. I didn't believe I could be who I am today. In fact, I never thought I can put Humpty Dumpty back together again, but I did. I put the egg back together and here. Yeah, I've got cracks, but big freaking deal. I'm a whole shell again, right? I'm back together. And that's what I'm telling you guys. It doesn't matter where you're starting. It doesn't matter what you believe for yourself right now. Even if you think you're not worth it, even if you think that this won't work for you, try it. Because this is therapy on steroids, guys. What didn't work for me in the past was all the other therapies. What didn't work for me in the past was mindset work or meditations or any of that stuff. But now all of that stuff works for me because I use the Rapid Transformational Therapy to unblock my mind from believing I wasn't worth it. And that's what this is about. You have to reject fear. You have to reject those insecurities. You have to reject it all from your life and eject it. And you do that by using Rapid Transformational Therapy because it works. And I'm living proof of that. So I hope to see you guys all here. I'm really happy you guys all came to our call today and to talk to me about fear. Because fear is the biggest thing that's holding people back. We're hearing that a lot on the phones from people who we speak to. They have a fear to invest in their future. It's a lot of money, to invest, and they don't think, that, they would rather sit in their garbage than take the risk of changing their lives. And to me, that's scarier. That's scarier to know that in a year from now, you're still going to be in the same bullshit you're living in now. In 2 years from now, that bullshit's going to be worse. You're piling it on. In 3 years from now, you're going to get bitch slapped so hard by the world and the universe, life's going to be harder for you. And so on and so on. And when I realized that's the pattern of life, that's when I decided I have no choice. I can't sit in fear anymore. I have to jump right now. Because if I don't jump right now, this is getting harder. And guess where I was when I made this decision? Dying in a hospital bed. So my next thing when I didn't make this decision to change would have been death. So I had no choice. Die or change. Don't let yourself get that low. Change now. You can. Everybody can. Everybody has a fighting chance. Everybody can make it. Everybody can be a superhero. Everybody can become their best version of themselves. So call me. Let's figure it out. We're going to put links above, below, somewhere. Call me. Let's figure it out. The call is 100% free. It doesn't cost you anything just to talk to us, to find out if you qualify to work with our company. If you're qualified, then jump on board. Don't hesitate. Because we change lives, and in 3 months from now, you will be a different human being, completely 100% different human being than you are today. Or you can sit where you are, sit in your fear, worry about losing money on an investment that you know is going to do good for you, that you know is going to help you change your life. And then in 1 year from now, you'll still be sitting in your garbage saying, oh, maybe I should have done that back then. Think about it. Think about it. Think about all the times you passed up on something from fear. And you know now, looking back, had you done that, where would you have been today? Don't let fear hold you back ever again, you guys. Jump, jump, jump. Today's the day. Bye, everyone.